Hello everyone, my name is Ida and this is a video on how you can make easy gold by making a simple daily routine into a new habit. There are many ways to make gold in Guild Wars 2, but here are the things that I do every day and in my priority order. Doing everything takes me about 30 minutes, but if for some reason I don't have enough time one day, I do as many as possible. The first thing I do is of course to log in and accept the 5 astral acclaim you get for no effort at all every day. There are always 4 daily objectives and by logging in and completing 3 of them you get 55 astral acclaims and 1 gold. By doing my daily routine, many or all of the other objectives usually get ticked off along the way. Since I spend almost all my time in the open world, I have mine set to PvE. Click on the cogwheel in the top left corner and you can change this to whatever you prefer. After that, I start at the crafting station to craft the 4 ascended materials that you can only do once per day. Lump of Mitrillium can be used to craft Sunlai Electrum ingots. Globe of Elder Spirit residue can be used to craft spirit wood planks. Spool of thick Elonian cord can be used to craft Elonian leather squares, and spool of silk weaving thread can be used to craft gossamer stuffing. You can sell the end material on the trading post for some instant gold, but it is a better idea to save up on them instead of spending gold buying them back later when you find out that you all of a sudden will need a lot of them. When I'm done crafting, I move on to visit my homestead, introduced with the Enter Wilds expansion. Don't worry if you do not own this though, you will still have 2 options for this daily part. The first option is to build up your own home with all of the nodes. It takes a lot of time and will cost you an amount of gold that will set you back for a long time. Without the Enter Wilds expansion, you still have the old place called Home Instance. It can be accessed from all races' capital city in Tyria. If you want to start installing the nodes in your own home, visit the wiki page linked in the description to find out how you can obtain each node. The second option is to visit someone else's home. There are usually kind players that will offer you to visit them through the LFG. If, for some reason, there are none at the moment, advertise LF, full home yourself or ask in the map chat. It won't take long until you are invited. If it's the old home instance, you will need to be on the same map as the player you join and enter at the same time. But if it's a homestead, you can join the party and then right-click on the player with a small home icon on their image. You can do this from any location, and when you exit you will be back at your previous location, and you don't need the Enter Wilds expansion for this. Note that homesteads and home instances are linked, that means you can only farm 1 of them per day. Farming a full home with all of the nodes will give you many of the materials and currencies in the game on a daily basis. The value varies based on trading post prices and if you sell or refine them, but it's worth several gold in just a couple of minutes. And to further increase the value, you should absolutely use glyphs on your gathering tools. I recommend to use Glyph of Volatility if you can afford them. You can get the glyphs either by buying any of the infinite gathering tools from the gem store, since you nowadays will be getting 3 selection boxes where you can select any glyphs you want despite the name of the sets. The only difference is the animation of your gathering tools. Or you can buy the glyphs from the trading post and put them on any breakable gathering tool. The glyph will pop off when the tool breaks. There are other glyphs as well, but most of the time the ones that give you volatile magic will be the most profitable. The Fast Farming community website has a list of all the glyphs and the profit they generate. A link can be found in the description. If you are the owner of your own homestead, you can speed up the gathering a lot by using the collection boxes, unlocked with the Journeyman Handiwork Crafting and Collection Boxes Mastery. And when using the boxes you can pop in a glyph to get the same result as with normal gathering. The boxes can only be used by the homestead owner. Otherwise, it's a good idea to use a build that can provide quickness for itself. I use my Herald and the utility Impossible Odds for this. A link to this build can be found in the description. While I'm still on my Herald, I also visit 2 of the guild halls I have access to, with nodes on different levels. This makes it possible to farm both of them. As long as the nodes are on different levels, level 0 to 4, you can farm up to 5 guild halls per day. After farming my homestead and guild halls, I move on to visit some vendors. The first stop is at the 6 Pact Supply Network agents, also referred to as PSNA, that will offer you 1 Pact Scouts mapping material each for some karma. Their locations change each day. By typing /wiki PSNA in the chat, you will find a wiki page that shows you the current locations. Copy the game links and paste them into the chat. To not spam others, you can select Whisper and whisper yourself by typing in your character's name. Then click on each of them to see where to go. In order to buy the supplies, you will need a supply line management mastery found on the Central Tyria and Pact Commander. Don't open the supplies immediately, save them instead, since opening them counts towards map bonuses on core Tyria maps. Type /wiki MMORPG in the chat to check which map gives you the highest profit. Then wait for that specific week and go to any location on the map to open all of them at once. The highest profit usually varies between 14 to 19 gold for every 40 Pact Scouts mapping materials you open. Here I opened 338 of them, saved up from 56 days, and I made almost 203 gold. If you are more interested in any specific tier 6 material, look for the weekend map that will give you the material you need. The next stop is at some of the faction provisioners that sell provisioner tokens. They offer trades for different materials and some of the trades are limited to 1 per day. I usually stop at the Esagate waypoint in Black Citadel and do the trade for 1 obsidian shard. At Shipwreck Peak waypoint in Verdant Brink, where I trade in 1 reclaimed metal plate. At the Wanderer's waypoint in Auric Basin, I do the trade for 1 Auric ingot. And lastly, I stop at Commodore's waypoint in Lion's Arch and do the trade for 1 Mystic Forge Stone and 5 globes of Ectoplasm. On the wiki, you will find a list of all the vendors that sell provisional tokens and what materials are required for each of them. Some of the more expensive materials can be traded without any daily limit, but are not worth it in my opinion. Instead, I stock up on them over time by doing these 5 and cheap daily trades. The tokens are needed for a couple of achievements, and for 50 provisional tokens you can buy a gift of craftsmanship at the same vendors, used for some legendary crafting. They can also be traded in for bloodbound weapons, ideal for when leveling a new character, or for crafter supply packs, which will give you about 5 silver per token. Then I usually go to Drizzlewood and buy 5 or 10 card keys for war supplies and trade in some common materials. The keys are used to open chests after the southern and northern meta events. For every 5 keys you buy, the price doubles, so doing some cheap trades every day makes it easier to not miss any loot when playing on this map. For 5 sets of materials that will vary every day, you can buy accommodations. Those progress as reward tracks similar to World vs. World. You also get accommodations by playing on the map, but this is a way to get faster rewards. At different tiers you get weapon and material boxes. And when finishing one of the repeatable achievements, you will be rewarded with a chest that gives you Mystic Clovers and some other great stuff. If you select a recovered shard artifact, you will also have a super rare chance to get a very expensive Heart of Kanur infusion. The last vendor I'll stop by is the Peddler in Dragon's End to buy some writs. The writs can be consumed for Imperial Favors, used for crafting Gen 3 legendary weapons. Here I buy 1 writ of Dragon's End for 1050 karma and 5 more for 1 writ from each of the other maps. The one that costs 10 Imperial Favors is just a loss and not worth buying. While I'm still in Kanta, I also do the 5 repeatable hero challenges. There are 1 in Arborstone, 2 in Sightung Province and 2 in Yukoneng City. They are easy to do and only take a couple of minutes. By doing them, I get the writs back that I just spent from those maps in Dragon's End and 1 extra from Sightung Province and 1 extra from Yukoneng City. I also get extra Imperial Favors and more karma than I spent on 1 writ of Dragon's End. Then I leave Kanta for a trip to Bjora Marches in order to collect some Eternal Ice Shards. It's a map from Living World Season 5 that for some reason is named the Iceblood Saga. There are nodes that you can gather from, as well as multiple chests to open. I do a combination of both, following this route on the east side of the map, and on the west side I follow this route. I don't gather all the nodes on the map, only the ones I come across on my way towards the chest. Doing this takes me less than 7 minutes to complete. If you want to spend a little less time, with less charge as a result, you can park alts at the 3 large chests on the west side of the map. The chests can be found at the following locations. If you happen to have the prototype position rewinder, you can jump down, open more chests and rewind back up again at each location. Do you want to know how you can get this tool? Check out this video where I explain how you can acquire it. When I have more Eternal Ice than I can fit in my material storage, I visit this merchant at the Bjora's Keep waypoint and trade them in for currencies from Living World Season 4. They can be consumed for volatile magic. Avoid Kralkatite ore if you don't need them for anything specific, since they give less volatile magic. I then visit any volatile magic merchant, for example this one in Dragonfall, and buy trophy shipments. They always cost 1 gold and 250 volatile magic and contain tier 5 and tier 6 materials. The profit from selling all of the materials is around 1 gold per trophy shipment. Next up is my parked alts. If you have characters that you don't regularly play on, it's a good idea to park them near a chest or other valuable stuff like rich veins. On the Fast Farming community website you will find a list of spots to park alts at and the average profit for each location. Link is in the description. Here are the locations where I have parked my alts at the moment. Tomb of Primeval Kings in Desert Highlands. Here you can loot 7 chests and 2 trade caches, as well as mining some mithril and orichalcum. The chests contain a bunch of unidentified gear and also trade contracts, which is a currency that for example will be useful when crafting Gen 2 legendaries as well as for the legendary accessory vision. The chests can be looted once per day per account. Sanctum of Napka in Crystal Oasis. In this location there are 3 large chests. Similar to the previous location, they will give you more unidentified gear and trade contracts. The chests can be opened once per day per account. At the end of Searing Ascent jumping puzzle in Draconis Mons. Here you will find an ancient chest that can be opened once per day per character. It means that you can park multiple characters at this location. It's not the easiest jumping puzzle and a bit tricky to get up here, but since it's a popular parking spot, there is often a commander here offering you to use a teleporter friend. Check the LFG and the Living World Season 3 and Draconis Mons. Currently I have 4 characters parked here. From the chest you will often get some rare gear as well as Unbound Magic and Fire Orchid Blossoms, the map specific currency that can be consumed for more Unbound Magic. They are also needed for the legendary accessory Aurora, near the Jade Gate waypoint in Echowold Wilds. Use your sky scale or the Jade takes ziplines to get up in the tree, slightly east of the waypoint. Here you will find a grand chest that can be looted once per day per account. Among its contents, the Jade runestones are the most valuable and can currently be sold for 51 silver each. Keep them instead if you plan to craft Gen 3 legendaries. You will get 1 or 2 runestones from the chest, and if you have the prototype position rewinder, you can jump down, loot another chest and rewind back up again. At the end of Win Through the Walls jumping puzzle in New Canaan City. As in Draconis Mons, you can look at the LFG and teleport your commander here if you don't want to do the jumping puzzle. Looting the chest will grant you another 1 or 2 Jade runestones each day per account. In Inner Neos, north of the southern extractor point of interest, in the Bleeding Waste, this greater Arcane chest moves between 3 locations around the area. The most important thing I get from it is the map currency Calcified Gasp, along with some gear, upgrade components, Imperial fragments and ancient coins. On a small floating island west of the Beacon of Ages waypoint in Skywatch Archipelago, at another greater Arcane chest. The difference here towards Inner Neos is the map currency static charges. At the Bastion of Strength, near the Crystal Pool point of interest in Amnitas. This greater Arcane chest can be found on either side here and contains the same loot as the previous chest, except the currency of the map, Pinch of Stardust. The 3 currencies are needed in larger amounts for the open world legendary Obsidian armor, introduced with the Secrets of the Obscure expansion. Arcane characters here will allow me to be more lazy getting my second and third weight of the armor. Yes, I'm going for all 3 of them. My last part character is always at the weekly jumping puzzle. I enjoy many of the puzzles in Central Tyria, but when I'm lazy I teleport her to a commander that can always be found at these puzzles every week. The daily loot I get varies, but sometimes I help others out myself after completing a puzzle. And once a week I get 50 more Astral Acclaims for a weekly objective. The last thing I do to wrap up my daily routine is go into Supported Grounds in Caledon Forest. Here I kill 10 crates to get an Ornate Rusted Key from the Repeatable Blood in the Water achievement. Having 10 keys allows me to open all of the Sunken chests. You can double click on the keys in your inventory to see the next chest location. The profit for one Ornate Rusted Key is on average 75 silver at the moment, since you will be getting 2 to 4 swim booster plus 10 from every chest. They sell for about 25 silver each. Ornate Rusted Keys can also drop from random mobs from time to time. I usually save up some keys and visit the chest when I have a couple of minutes to spend waiting for something else. It's some easy gold making since I don't need the boosters myself. Well, that's all of my daily stuff completed. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please hit the like button. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, and subscribe to the channel to not miss out on more Guild Wars 2 content. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.